Welcome to my channel. Subscribe and enjoy my new stories every day. I never imagined the cherished memories framed on our dresser would lead me into a spiral of betrayal and revenge. It was a simple, yet elegant, silver frame holding one of our happiest moments, our wedding day. One morning, while dusting, I noticed it was absent, the usual spot glaringly empty. A trivial change to anyone else, but my gut twisted with an inexplicable unease. Driven by a creeping suspicion, I decided to take measures that would later reveal the disturbing truth. I installed a hidden camera in our bedroom, a silent observer to whatever secret the room might hold. Weeks passed, each day feeding my growing paranoia, until I could no longer ignore the itch to review the footage. What I saw shattered my world. The room was dimly lit, shadows playing across the walls, and there she was, my wife, dressed in a striking latex suit that I had never seen before. Beside her was a figure whose identity rocked me to my core, my father. The betrayal sliced through me sharper than any blade. I watched, frozen, as they indulged in acts that mocked the sanctity of our marriage. The intimacy, the laughter, the casualness, it was a brutal tableau of deceit. Confronting them was an explosion of anger and disbelief. How could you? The question thudded dully in the charged air, my voice hollow. Their excuses and apologies sounded like distant echoes, meaningless and empty. The camera, initially my silent ally, became a screaming siren of betrayal, replaying the devastating scene over and over in my mind. The trust one had placed in both the woman I vowed to cherish and the man who raised me was obliterated in those moments caught on tape. Driven by a cold fury, I plotted my revenge. The love and respect I once felt mutated into a searing desire to see their lives dismantled, piece by piece. The first step was simple but absolute: divorce. Legal papers were drawn up with a ruthless efficiency, each signature a line through the life we had built together. But that was just the beginning. As I stood looking at the now vacant spot on the dresser, I knew this was only the first chapter of their downfall. The path ahead was clear. Every aspect of her existence would be scrutinized and stripped away. Her social standing, her comforts, the facade she presented to the world, all would crumble. As I planned the next steps, the bitterness was a constant companion, a reminder of the deception that had lived under my own roof. The revenge would be methodical, precise, and devastating. I vowed never to see her face again after the dust settled. This was more than a divorce, it was retribution, a cleansing fire to burn away the humiliation and pain. And so, with a cold resolve settling in my chest, I prepared to turn the page on this dark chapter of my life, each move designed to bring about a justice as harsh and unforgiving as the betrayal itself. The intrigue of what lay ahead promised to be both cathartic and chilling. The days following my discovery are a blur of emotion and meticulous planning. My resolve to dismantle the life we had built together sharpens with each passing moment, feeding a relentless drive for retribution. As I sit in my dimly lit office, poring over financial statements and digital records, I stumble upon the first opportunity to strike. I find discrepancies in our joint accounts, withdrawals and charges that now throb with deceit. Each transaction a breadcrumb leading back to their treachery. A bitter laugh escapes me as I compile the evidence, the digital footprint of their betrayal. With my evidence in hand, I drive to confront my father. The drive is tense, each mile a tightening coil of anger and anticipation. I arrive at his home, a place that once felt like a sanctuary, now just a backdrop for betrayal. The door swings open, and there he stands, his expression a mix of surprise and guilt. "What are you doing here?" he stammers, stepping aside reluctantly. "We need to talk." "Now," I say, pushing past him, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. I throw the papers on the kitchen table, the evidence displayed like a hand of cards. "These transactions, explain them," I demand, my gaze fixed on him, unyielding. He picks up the papers, his eyes scanning the numbers, a faint color draining from his face. "It's not what you think," he begins, but I cut him off. "It's exactly what I think. Betrayal. Lies. You and her, wasting my money on your escapades. How long did you think you could hide it? He tries to speak, to form excuses, but they fall flat before they can fully form. I lean in, my anger a palpable force. You have one chance to make this right. End it. Or I will end everything you hold dear. The threat hangs between us, heavy and ominous. He nods slowly, defeat lining his features. I'll end it. I swear. I'll be watching. Every move you make, I assure him, my voice cold and hard. I turn to leave, the first piece of my revenge set into motion, but not before adding, and tell her she's next. As I drive away, the weight of the confrontation settles around me, but it doesn't bring peace. It fuels the next phase of my plan. My thoughts turn to my wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, and the life she thinks she can continue to lead. My grip tightens on the steering wheel as I think of her deceit, the images from the video replaying in my mind, fueling my resolve. Back at home, I start the next phase. Legal and financial pressures are just the beginning. I reach out to a few well-placed contacts, spreading the word about her actions. Her social standing will crumble, I'll see to it. As each plan is set into motion, a grim satisfaction settles over me. This is just the beginning. The intrigue of how far I can push them looms large, promising more revelations and more revenge. The morning air is crisp as I step out of my car, the familiar facade of our home looming before me. It's a structure filled with broken promises and shattered trust. Today, I confront her, the final showdown that's been brewing since the moment I saw the heart-wrenching footage. My steps are determined, each one echoing the beat of retribution thumping in my chest. I find her in the kitchen, a picture of domestic tranquility that now seems grotesque. She looks up, her expression shifting from surprise to fear as she takes in my grim demeanor. We need to talk, I state plainly, my voice devoid of the warmth it once held for her. She swallows hard, nodding slowly, clutching the back of a chair as if for support. Okay, she whispers, her voice barely audible. I waste no time. I know about you and my father, I begin, watching her closely. Her face pales, confirming her guilt even before she speaks. How did you find out? Her voice trembles, betraying her composure. The cameras, I say curtly, watching as her eyes widen in shock. I saw everything. Tears start to form in her eyes, but my heart is stone. Why? I demand, though no answer could ever mend the damage. I don't know, I was lost, and he was there. She trails off, her explanation dissolving into sobs. That's no excuse for betrayal, I cut in sharply. My voice is steady, my resolve unyielding. I've already confronted him. Now it's your turn. We're done. I want a divorce. Her sobbing intensifies, but my decision is irrevocable. You need to leave, I continue, the words like a verdict. She tries to approach me, reaching out, pleading. Please, can we talk about this? There's nothing left to discuss, I interject, stepping back, the distance between us now not just physical but infinite. I'll be filing today. You'll receive all the necessary documents by the end of the week. My tone is clinical, like dictating a business agreement to a stranger. But where will I go? She asks through tears, her voice cracking under the weight of her choices. That's not my concern anymore. You should have thought about that before. The harshness in my voice surprises even me, but the hurt is too deep, the betrayal too raw to soften the edges of my words. I turn to leave, the finality of the moment heavy in the air. As I reach the door, she calls out, a last desperate plea, I'm sorry, I truly am. Without turning back, I reply, sorry doesn't change what you did. And with that, I step out, closing the door on the life we had shared, the sound as final as the closing of a casket. Driving away, the action of my departure feels both liberating and heavy. My mind races with the fallout yet to come, the legal battles, the social ramifications. But amidst the chaos, a plan forms, a way to ensure her deceit doesn't go unpunished. The day unfolds with phone calls and meetings with lawyers, each step meticulously crafted to strip her of the comfortable life she betrayed. By late afternoon, I initiate the next phase of my revenge, informing our mutual friends and her colleagues about her actions. Reputation is everything, and I make sure hers is tarnished beyond repair. As the sun sets, casting long shadows over the city, I sit in my office, the day's events replaying in my mind. The path of retribution is set, the wheels of justice turning inexorably towards a conclusion that I orchestrate with precision. The intrigue of how far I can push the boundaries of this retribution consumes me, a dark anticipation for what is yet to come. The story of betrayal continues to unfold, each chapter darker and more decisive than the last. The city's skyline glimmers under the night sky as I orchestrate the final act of my revenge from the shadows of my office. The last few weeks have been a crescendo of deliberate, calculated moves that have stripped her of both companions and comfort. But tonight, the curtain falls on this tragic play of deceit. I arrange for a meeting under the guise of finalizing our divorce amicably, a ploy that brings her to my chosen venue, a secluded upscale restaurant where many of our happiest moments unfolded. It's poetic justice, the perfect stage for the endgame. As she walks in, her face is a mask of cautious optimism, perhaps believing in some form of reconciliation or mercy. Her eyes search for a sign of softening in mine, but they find none. "Thank you for coming," I start, my voice cool and steady. "I wanted to discuss the final terms in person, to ensure there are no misunderstandings." She nods, taking a seat across from me, the table set with an elegance that mocks the ugliness of our encounter. "Of course, I appreciate you wanting to sort things out directly," she replies, a tremor of nervousness in her tone. "As you know," I continue, unfolding a document from my briefcase, "everything has been divided as agreed. However, there's one last item that wasn't covered." I slide a manila envelope across to her. Puzzled, she opens it, her hands shaking slightly. Inside are photos, not just any photos, but images of her and my father from various stages of their affair, captured from surveillance I had not disclosed before. Her face drains of color as she looks up at me, her eyes wide with shock. "What is this?" she stammers, her voice barely a whisper. "Consider it a parting gift," I say coldly. "Proof, if you ever try to deny what happened between you and my father." Her hands clutch at the photos, a silent sob catching in her throat. "How long have you had these?" "Long enough," I reply. "And everyone who mattered has seen them by now. Your friends, your colleagues, even your family." The revelation hits her like a physical blow, her body recoiling as if slapped. Tears stream down her face, but my heart is stone. "You didn't have to do this." "Why?" she pleads. "Because you broke everything we had," I snap, the hurt surging as anger. "You made a fool of me, in the worst possible way." Standing up, I throw down a final piece of paper, it's a check. "That's the last thing you'll ever get from me. Take it and leave. We're done here." She's sobbing now, her whole body shaking. "I never meant to hurt you this much. I'm sorry, truly." "Sorry doesn't change what you did. Nor does it change what I've done," I say, my voice devoid of any warmth. I watch her leave, a broken figure shuffling through the restaurant, diminished and alone. As the door closes behind her, a surprising sense of emptiness washes over me. The revenge, as satisfying as it was to plan and execute, leaves a bitter taste. Back in the solitude of my car, the adrenaline of retribution fades, revealing a hollow victory. My phone buzzes, it's a message from an unknown number. I open it to find a video attachment. Curiosity piqued, I play it. It's a video of my father, looking into the camera with an earnest expression. If you're watching this, then I assume she's already seen the photos. I need you to know that none of it was her fault. I manipulated her, threatened to reveal secrets about her family that could ruin lives. She did it to protect them, not out of love for me. The world tilts as I pause the video, a cold realization dawning on me. Had my vengeance been misplaced? Had I become the monster I sought to punish? In the heavy silence of the night, surrounded by the echoes of my ruthless actions, the true deception reveals itself, not just hers, but mine, the deception of unchecked revenge. I sit there, the weight of this new truth crushing me, realizing that our parting, laced with the hatred of betrayal, was irrevocably final.